Good morning again. I'm sorry, but apparently I had my volume turned all the way down for my apps, and so therefore we did not have any sound in the last video, so I will just do it again. So Ephesians chapter 4 verse 32 says, "Instead be kind and merciful, forgiving others, just as God forgave you because of Christ." I'm asking you to forgive me for messing up the video. I did not mean to do it. I'm sorry if I offended you. That's a thought. So, for all the people out there who ask me if I changed my name to Samson, no, I did not. My wife is not named Delilah. And no, I didn't kill a whole army with the jaw of a donkey. But nevertheless, let's look at this verse. It's telling us to be kind. Be nice to people. What? Be nice? Why would I want to be nice? People tell me I'm nice. Got them fooled, don't I? So what does it mean to be kind? It means to be good. Be good to other people, even when they're not good to you. And a lot of times that's hard to do. Be benevolent. Be loving. What does it mean to be benevolent? It means to be giving. It means to give even though it hurts. I know it's hard to be nice to somebody who's not nice to you. It's hard to love somebody who is not nice to you at all. But guess what? A lot of times we have to grin and bear it and be kind. It's hard to be kind to people who you have just seen be absolutely terribly mean to another person. I know that whenever I would take people to jail back in the day when I was much younger and did that for a living, I had to be kind to those people I had handcuffed because they were my responsibility at that point. If they turned up injured, if they turned up, unfortunately, deceased by the time I got them to the jail, it was my fault. I would answer for that. And I had to be kind to them even though I wanted to hurt them. Yeah, it takes self-control. It takes the ability to manage our emotions. You choose the way you feel towards people. That's your responsibility. You can choose your emotions. And just as you can choose your emotions, you can choose your behavior. A lot of our behavior is based in our emotions. So if we, knowing this, choose to be kind to people and to love them and to be good to them and to be benevolent to them even though they don't deserve it, that is based in an emotion that we choose, and our behavior therefore becomes something we choose to do. And that's not always something that's fun because we don't always want to be nice to people who are not nice to other people or not nice to us. So what do? You take a deep breath and you pray about it. And God, help me to show you in this situation because I really don't want to be kind to this person. Yes, that puts the shoe on the other foot because our behavior should match that of God's. Our behavior should match that of Jesus Christ because that's who we represent, right? And because we are told in this verse to be kind, that we're also told to be merciful. Yeah, we have to show compassion to people because we're held to a higher standard. And in that higher standard, we are called to reflect the things of God. And one of those things is mercy and compassion. We have to be slow to anger. Once again, you're choosing your emotion. Just because somebody does something you don't like doesn't mean you have to jump up and down like a monkey and throw a fit. We've all been to the zoo and we've seen apes have fits. And that's us a lot of times when we see something we don't like. I see things I don't like on a regular basis. I see things that grind my gears, that just make me unhappy. But nevertheless, I don't get the pleasure or the ability to jump up and down and have a fit because I don't like it. If it's a moral injustice, if it's against the law, then there's a good chance I can say something about that. that would fall within the purview of being allowed to do something. But just because you don't like it doesn't mean that you get to be angry all the time. Knowing someone is a jerk, but not doing bad things to them is a part of that showing mercy. We can't make, we're not the police. I know some of us wear a badge, but we don't always get to choose what's right and wrong. We have to endure sometimes and show mercy to other people who are treating others poorly. And just because someone is doing something dumb doesn't mean we get the ability or the responsibility to have a witty comeback to them for everything they say or do wrong. We can't be smart aleck all the time. And for me, that's something that's really hard because I have a sharp tongue and I always have a big witty comment in the back of my head, even if I don't say it. Why? Because I'm responsible for my actions. I am responsible for showing mercy to that person who thinks they know everything under the sun, but really don't. And I know what they're telling me is wrong, but nevertheless, sometimes it's okay to let people be wrong. Yeah, it's okay to let people be wrong. And that drives me crazy. Or crazier. I'm already crazy. So we have to be kind, we have to be merciful, and we have to forgive. Yes, we have to forgive. There are some terrible wrongs that go in this world that happen to people at no fault of their own. And they say, how can I forgive somebody for what they've done to me? And I'm talking about some pretty horrific things. And I say, it's one day at a time. I know I wake up some mornings and I hold grudges against people who have done me some horrible wrongs. And I have to say, God, yesterday I forgave them. Help me to do that again. And there's some days it's not a problem. I just go on with life. But some days it's harder than others, and we have to work towards that. We know that sanctification is progressive. That's the official Assemblies of God stance. It's progressive. My stance is it's both instantaneous and progressive, but we're concentrating on the progressive right now. And we have to work towards forgiving other people a lot of times. Now, if somebody accidentally steps on my foot in the store, that's easy to forgive, and that's something that's really fast to forgive. We can pardon somebody for that, but it's those deep wrongs that we have a hard time pardoning. And to forgive means not to hold it against them. And unfortunately, there is a song out there in the movie Frozen that sums it up. It's called Let It Go. And as I sit here and talk to you about that, that song is playing in my head. And I have to forgive whoever wrote that song, who sang it, and who put it in that Disney movie that my children watched ad nauseum over and over and over again. I really wish people would let it go, that song and that movie. But it does serve a purpose right now, is that we have to let it go in other people's lives when they wrong us. Does that mean that we don't seek justice in the proper channels? Yes, you must do that. But ultimately, you have to forgive. That doesn't stop people from being responsible for their actions and set consequences for actions, but we do have to forgive. So why do we have to let it go? Why do we have to be merciful? And why do we have to be kind? Well, that's easy. It's even right there in the verse. It says, because God forgave you because of Christ. That's why. God forgave you. So therefore, as a born-again believer, you must be merciful, forgiving, and kind to other people because you have received mercy, because you have received kindness, and you have been forgiven. Therefore, you must do so as well. One of the things I've learned about human nature in my multiple years upon this earth and working within people industries is everybody loves grace. Oh, God, forgive me of my sins. God, help me to be the person you want me to be. Thank you that you don't hold my sins against me anymore. Thank you that you're kind to me, God. Thank you that you're merciful to me. Thank you that you forgive me. Thank you for all this grace, God. And then when we see somebody else who is asking for God's grace, we get upset. Oh God, they don't deserve your grace. I know what they've done. And they've been bad, really, really, really bad. And that is a problem because we're told to be merciful, kind, and forgiving because we have received it. We have received grace, and therefore we must give grace. We must allow grace in other people's lives. I didn't say it would be easy, but then again, anything worth having isn't easy. Whenever I was at class back in the spring, one of the questions that was brought up was, why are you here? And I had to think about it. Why am I here? Why am I paying all this money? And it dawned on me, I will not give to my God something that cost me nothing. It's going to cost you to give other people grace. It's going to take effort. And that's why we do it. Not because it's easy, but because it's required and because it's difficult. So be merciful, be kind, and be forgiving to other people, and have a good one.